This is a compilation of my Sonic Racing CrossWorlds Dream Roster videos, both part 1 and 2. How much stuff has been revealed over the last couple months about Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. It's kind of disappointing in some aspects, but some aspects I really do like. So, here today, I want to make my own dream roster. I'm just going to take the free characters and the season pass and just completely shove that aside. Maybe make my own rules along the way too. We'll have to wait and see. I do want to hear your guys' dream rosters down in the comment section below. You don't have to follow my rules, just say who you want in the game. But before we get into that though, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Sackboy. I do Sonic news, reviews, and sometimes video essays. If you could, please like and subscribe, because we're trying to reach 4,000 subscribers whenever we do that, and the likes will count me on the algorithm. Also, I live stream every Saturday at 11 a.m. PST and 2 p.m. EST. Please come check it out. We always do so much fun. Alright, let's set some ground rules. Everyone who is in the current season pass and the free characters stays. Like, I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to, like, add more people. I'm not going to, like, erase people. Like, if you guys like the Minecraft stuff, you like the SpongeBob stuff, you like TMNT, Avatar, Miku, Ichiban, or Joker, like, they're all still here. Don't worry. I'm just not going to acknowledge them, but they will all still technically be here to some extent, so don't worry. So let's just get into the free characters, because I feel like this is what encapsulates most of the thumbnail. So let's just get straight into it. First of all, we have Crash Bandicoot. I feel like this shouldn't have to be explained. Crash Bandicoot has a couple of kart racers of his own, and obviously, I feel like a lot of people have wanted a Crash and Sonic collaboration. They're kind of like in the same space in terms of like their popularity. Maybe Sonic a little bit more so, mostly because of the movies and how well his games have been doing recently. But yeah, I feel like this would be a really cool thing. I've always wanted to see a Sonic and Crash Bandicoot crossover ever since I've learned about Crash Bandicoot with the Insane Trilogy remaster. So, yeah, I feel like this is like a really good pick and someone I would definitely want for CrossWorlds. By the way, I'm also not tied to anything being specifically a Sega Atlas franchise or let's say Paramount franchise here. I have full free reign to pick whoever I want, whenever I want. And I know a lot of the free characters come with vehicles, so I'll just give Crash his kart from the previous kart racers he's been in. The next one we have here is purely based on something I've been enjoying recently, and it's Dr. Gregory House from House MD. Now, obviously, this is an insane one. I don't feel like they'd put actual people alongside the Sonic characters in an actual context of the game, but here, I just want him in because I really like the show. I've been liking the show for a couple of months now, and it's honestly just really fun. I really like the dynamics between all the characters. Obviously, I feel like I'm going to have to give him his motorcycle that appears in the first 3 seasons because, well, no duh, that's kind of his iconic vehicle. The next one we have here is Freddy Fazbear. Now, none of these are jokes, by the way. These are all people who I would actually, like, unironically like to see in CrossWorlds, and what I'd give him is just like a Faz car that appeared in a Security Breach, or whatever those things are called. The next one is Pac-Man with his... This section was filmed over a month before the Gamescom reveal. I legitimately have no clue how I actually predicted Pac-Man was coming to the game, except it wasn't in the capacity that I thought it would. It's a season pass item instead of a free character, but I'll take it regardless. Hack board, I don't really know how to like tell you guys what it is. It would be an extreme gear. It would look something like this from the Pac-Man in his Ghostly Adventures show. Which they had extreme gear in that show. That's weird. Anyway, it would look something like that. I wish he kind of got a track alongside that too. Maybe something along the lines of what appeared in, like, the games. Anyway, the next one we have here is Rayman. Now, again, I've always wanted to see a Sonic and Rayman crossover, so for him to be in here, I think would be really cool. And we've finally seen him in a newer 3D context with the Mario and Rabbids games, so I feel like that would be a really cool thing to just bring him in from there. And I'd probably just give him a custom extreme gear, like, I don't know, like floating 2 little things, could be his hands or something. Who knows, really. Whatever they'd give him, I'd be fine with. Next one we have here is Green Lantern, and the vehicle I'd give him is probably something made by his ring, whether it be a car or an extreme gear, so yeah. I'm not sure if I'd go with Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner. Maybe not Guy Gardner, but it's between John and Hal, so pick of those two if you will. The next one we have here is Iron Man. We got a lot of superheroes on this one, and I would make like an iron car, like something that's made out of the Iron Man suit materials, just like make that into a car. I don't know if that'll like actually exist in the Marvel comics or anywhere else in the Marvel universe, but or multiverse now. But I feel like it would be pretty interesting. I would like to see him in there, maybe voiced by Nolan North or whoever voiced him recently in the Avenger game. By the way, all of these characters would have voices, and if I was to go with Hal Jordan for Green Lantern, it would be Nathan Fillion, baby, let's go! Speaking of Nathan Fillion, next we have John Nolan and his police car. Now, if you don't know who that is, it's from The Rookie, another show I've really been enjoying. I can't wait for season, what are we on, 8? Yeah, we're on 8, season 8. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever season's coming next, I'm really excited for it. Not really much to say about that. Maybe another character could be added too alongside it, like Tim, but I'm not exactly sure. Next one we have here is Captain America and the motorcycle. I know, I'm really trying to justify the motorcycles here. But, and the last video too. But, yeah, I feel like this is another safe bet. Like, you'll see why I'm adding these superhero characters where they are at in specific sections when we get to the season pass stuff. But I feel like this is another really cool one that I would definitely play. My dad would definitely play alongside me. He'd probably always choose Captain America and his motorcycle. That one is for you, Father. This one is specifically for you. That's Captain America. I know you love him. This last one's kind of silly, but I'm gonna go with Greg Heffley and the family van. Like, again, my list. You can't be mad at any of these because it's my list. You can have your own. But I could definitely see that happening. Like, I don't know how they do that, whether they put him in the back with a bunch of luggage, like in the long haul, or if they put him in front with like the rest of the Heffley family driving. You know, who knows? I have no clue. We will have to wait and see. Say we'd have to wait and see as if this is actually happening, dude. I'm so silly. But you know, imagine if it actually did happen now. That would be really funny. Alright, that is pretty much all of the free characters, so let's get into the season pass. Here's where we get more characters from the thumbnail. Pack 1 would include, by the way, each pack is going to include 2 characters, 1 track, and 1 stage, just like the normal season pass ones. Anyway, Pack 1 includes Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater, as well as Radiator Springs as a track, and Mac with his trailer as the vehicle. Now, I've been kind of workshopping this over the past couple of days. Like, how would I do that? Like, that would be a really long car and give them a lot of opportunity, like, crush other players. But, maybe they could have, like, a skin for Lightning and Mater, just make him, like, stock as the base character, and then have, their, actual, like, wraps be the cars, you know? I don't really know, but then Mater couldn't have his car. Who knows? Whatever, I just hope that would happen in some way. That would be like the best thing ever, because I really like the Cars franchise, except for Cars 2. Cars 2 sucks! Pack 2 would include Marty McFly and Dr. Emmett Brown, and the track being Hill Valley. If they want to do like some time travel stuff with that, I'm cool with that. And the DeLorean, obviously, is the vehicle. This would be so cool. I wish like more Back to the Future stuff would be represented in other media. Like, that would be so cool. This is probably the one I want to have the most. I love Back to the Future. I love everything that they were able to capture within those 3 movies. Except for the third one. The third one's kind of iffy for me. But, yeah, I just really hope it happens. I really like Back to the Future, the game, too. The next one we have here is Spider-Man and Venom, and they'd obviously have New York to play around in. And they'd have the Spider-Mobile as a vehicle. This one's just silly, but I really like silly right now. So, yeah, I also really like Spider-Man. If you tilt the camera, you will see that it's my second hyper obsession behind Sonic. Not nearly as much so, obviously, but, yeah. I don't even know if you guys could see it. Could you see it? There we go. The next one we have here is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and they'd play around Tatooine, obviously. Now, here's where we get to the first little thing that kind of breaks the rules. I would have both an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter. Mostly because they both need their vehicles, so I'm willing to kind of like bend the rules if it makes sense for both characters to have a distinct vehicle. Like, Darth Vader probably wouldn't ride around in an X-Wing. Maybe he would. We don't really know. The next one we have here is Batman and Superman. They'd run around in Metropolis, and they would have the Batmobile. Obviously, again, Superman doesn't really have like his specific vehicle, as far as I'm aware. So, we're just gonna have to stick with the Batmobile. But Metropolis makes sense for me personally, mostly because we see Batman more there than we see Superman in Gotham. So, that just makes sense to me. The next pack we have here is pack number 6, Mega Man and Proto Man. If you guys Sonic fans should know them because they were in the crossover stuff with Sonic and Mega Man. I actually have the complete thing right over there. You guys remember him, right? Anyway, where they would run around is Wily Castle. I feel like that would be a pretty good one. Vehicle would be Rush. He would act as Extreme Gear, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's an image of Rush in his flying form. That is very clearly supposed to be like Extreme Gear, so come on guys, can we just say that that's Extreme Gear? The next pack is pack 7. Now if you watched the last video, I said that I would try to replace this with something else in reference to the Toy Story one. This is the one. Now who I included here is Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball. And they would be on Training Island. I had to look up so much stuff to find like a perfect course for them to be on. But I decided to go with Training Island. Look that up, because I don't know what it really is either. Anyway, and then they used the Flying Nimbus as Extreme Gear. Obviously, that would be really cool. Pack 8, another one of my recent like obsessions. I might be a little bit autistic now that I think about it. Anyway, one of my recent obsessions is How to Train Your Dragon. And obviously, I would go with Hiccup and Astrid as the main characters, as well as Burke being their place of on the track, as well as Toothless and maybe Stormfly as well. It makes sense for both of them to be riding Toothless and Astrid to be riding Stormfly, but I feel like I would like to have both dragons in there, but if I could only go with Toothless, I would choose Toothless as well. I think Toothless and Stormfly would act as Extreme Gear, I think mostly because they could keep off the ground the entire time with their wings, but I don't know how that would happen with like the collision and everything. Who really knows, but I would still like to see them in there as Extreme Gear. Pack number 9, second to last, would include Deadpool and Wolverine, and they would have a track in the void as well as driving a Honda Odyssey. Now they wouldn't say it's a Honda Odyssey, mostly due to copyright, but it would certainly look like a Honda Odyssey. Okay, so the last pack that we have for this was a really big one. I was originally going to go with Omni-Man and Invincible, but I couldn't justify a location nor a vehicle, so I just decided to scrap it. So I ended up going with Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers, and their track would be based in Toronto, Canada, and they would just have it custom Extreme Gear because I know Scott is a fan of the Sonic franchise. So yeah, that is pretty much every single thing that I wanted if I had to stick to this. So yeah. Now some of you may have noticed that there wasn't any Sonic characters on this list. What's the deal with that? I'll let you know now. I've made a previous comment in a live stream saying that in a perfect world, Sega would do this. They would make a non-Sonic pass with a bunch of different characters from different franchises that aren't Sonic, and they would also have a Sonic pass, which would include a bunch of Sonic characters, a bunch of Sonic vehicles, a bunch of Sonic locations. You know, for the Sonic fans who want to get that, more Sonic the better, right? I'm not sure like how sustainable this would have been, but I would have done 2 season passes. I would have done a CrossWorlds pass, and I would have done a Sonic Legacy pass, where you had different Sonic characters and different Sonic locations being in there, and then you could have all of the crossover elements of CrossWorlds being in its own separate pass, that if people want to get that, they could get that, or if they want to get both, you get the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds full pass, or something like that. What I've described to you guys throughout this entire video was the non-Sonic pass. What you are going to see next time in part 2 is the Sonic pass. Now, some of you may have been able to read that. I hope not, because the blur should have been really good there. But, yeah. Next video is going to be part 2, so make sure you stick around for that. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. You know the drill. We're talking about the Sonic Pass this time, but if you haven't seen the last video, what are you doing here? Now, the ground rules for this one haven't changed all that much. It's still the 10 packs, which include 2 characters, 1 track, 1 vehicle, except the free characters. Instead of 10 now, we have 20, obviously because there's more Sonic characters that I know of to pull from. So let's get started with the Sonic characters, shall we? First, for the free characters, we have Zamam, Xena, Master Zik, and Zor. These are the first 4. Obviously, I don't think I need to explain these ones all that well, because obviously we have Zaz and Zavok in there already, so we might as well just push the Deadly 6 in there. I feel like that would be a really good choice. I would probably not give them all their own vehicles in this specific pass, mostly because there's just so many characters. Maybe just assume that everyone gets a car, and then I'll be happy with that. The 5th slot is Chip. Now, obviously, I feel like this one's a no-brainer. Just have Chip in there. I don't know exactly how they would do that, but they could probably figure it out. Then we have Trip the Sun Gazer from Sonic Superstars. Now, this one is kind of like an iffy pick because it's the classic character. It will be the first classic character would add to the game. I still feel like they could pull it off, especially considering how decently Sonic Superstars sold. So, yeah, I feel like they could easily include her and not have any issues. I feel like, and she obviously wouldn't talk because they're all classic characters. Classic characters obviously don't talk, guys. Speaking of classic characters, now we have Fang the Hunter, or Fang the Sniper, whatever you want to call him. Anyway, he would be the next one, as well as Bean the Dynamite and Bark the Polar Bear. Now, obviously having the Hooligans in here is also a no-brainer. They would probably all just share a vehicle, which would be the riding thing that you see in the Archie comics, as well as what you see in the Fang the Sniper comic. And then, the number 10 spot goes to Scourge the Hedgehog. You may have seen him on the teaser for the first video, but I decided to change that last minute. Whoopsie. Anyway, I feel like this is also another no-brainer, mostly due to the fact that everyone likes Scourge. Like, I see no, like, negative in putting him in there. Although, it could be iffy depending on who technically owns Scourge. I still think it goes to Sega, but Ken Penders would probably say otherwise. Anyway, that was Wave 1. Now, I want to do these in 2 waves. Mostly, one has 10 characters and the other one has 10 characters, just so it, like, lightens the load on people. Like, they could just have 10 characters release at once and then they'll have the other 10 release at another time, you know? I feel like that'd just be a better decision overall, not only for the people consuming the product, but as well as the people developing it. Now, Wave 2, which is the final wave, by the way, there's only 2 waves, which would be Commander Abraham Towers. Now, you'll see why I picked him later, but I feel like this isn't an out there choice. They already have Eggman and Sage, which are both technically human-ish characters. I feel like this is a no-brainer. If they want to add him, just have Roger voice him. Again, in a perfect world, all of them would have voices, but yeah, I see no reason why they shouldn't put him in, especially considering what's in the season pass as well. So, yeah, I would be pretty happy if this actually ended up happening. Next, we have E102 Gamma from Sonic Adventure. Now, we don't really know how the Prime skins work, whether they're going to be selectable in, like, an options menu, or if it's going to be separate spots entirely, but I wish something like that would happen with the E100 series, where you could select which one that you wanted from Sonic Adventure. Omega would be a separate one, but yeah, they would come with E102 Gamma and all of the other ones that were included in Sonic Adventure. The next one we have here is Infinite from Sonic Forces. Now, this is kind of like one of those no-brainer picks because everyone kind of likes the idea of Infinite. We all wished he kind of came back, was expanded upon more, maybe had better writing behind him too, but no, he's dead. But this would be the perfect place to bring him back in a just generic racing game. And that, well, not generic. You guys obviously have seen recently that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is gearing up to be one of the best Sonic racing games of all time. But just bring him in here as a little spin-off thing. That'd be really cool. Next one we have here is Neo Metal Sonic. I feel like this design distinguishes itself enough to the point where it could be its own character slot. Besides, like, Neo Metal Sonic 3.0, that could be a character skin. But, yeah, I see no problem with this one as well. I feel like they could do really cool things with, like, his car, like how he interacts with other characters in-game. Because, again, all of these characters would have interactable stuff with each other in a perfect world. But, yeah, I feel like this is a really good choice. Everyone likes Neo Metal Sonic right now. He's kind of in everything, whether it be the IDW or the games. He's even making a comeback in Sonic X Generation, so that's honestly really cool. Next, we have Shara from Sonic and the Secret Rings. Now, this one's kind of like an iffy pick. I kind of decided between her and Shade from Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood, but I ended up going with Shara because she's more well-known. I think I like her character design just a little bit better than just like a woman Knuckles with cybernetic stuff on her. She's still a really cool design, but I think I was going to go with Shara here. Yeah, I feel like this is a really good pick. I don't think she needs really a car, maybe Extreme Gear, but we would have to wait and see for that. Again, wait and see like any of this is happening. But, yeah, though, I feel as though this is a good pick. I would pick a couple characters from the storybook games to be in here, definitely. Next, we have Merlina from Sonic and the Black Knight. Now you know why I chose Shara, because I wanted to have both of those characters in here as well, and you will soon see why those two specifically are in here, because their counters are also in the game. Let's just get these two out of the way right now. First, we have Eraser de Jin and King Arthur from Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight, respectively. Now, to have the villains of those two in here, they only appeared in one game, game, along with Shara and Merlina, obviously. But I feel as though this would be a really cool thing to do. A lot of people have been getting nostalgia for Sonic in the Secret Rings as well as Black Knight recently. The next two are IDW characters. First, we have Dr. Starline. Now, I know a lot of people, like, don't like his character. Like, obviously, he's a great character. People just, like, don't like him because he's annoying and stuff like that. And I feel like we need to see more IDW stuff in the main games. So if we get in a spin-off first, I would be totally happy with that. And the next one we have here is Mimic. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, it's this guy. He appeared most prominently in the Tangle and Whisper series, but he has been sneaking in the background of a lot of things in the IDW comics recently. I feel like the newest one coming up has him in there. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he's hiding his cream. But anyway, those are pretty much all of the free characters, so let's get into the actual season pass. Pack 1 would include Tangle and Whisper, and they'd be in Restoration HQ with the Wispon Extreme gear that was leaked, by the way. That hasn't officially been leaked. And yeah, I feel like this is honestly the most likely out of any of these, because Whisper has actually been leaked for the game with the Wispon. And yeah, I feel like that's just a really safe pick. I really like the IDW characters, so just bring them in wherever you can, even if it's like a little reference like they did in Sonic Frontiers. Next, we have Gerald and Maria Robotnik from Sonic X-Star Generations, those versions specifically. They'd be going around Space Colony Arc as well as having a gun vehicle. Now, some of you may be saying, Maria in a gun vehicle? But let's just say this is before she died, and technically Gerald has been working with Gun the entire time on the Space Colony Arc. So I'm just saying that now, like, this isn't technically hypocritical whatsoever, mostly because in this context the characters would still be alive, they'd still be happy and all that stuff. The next pack that we have here is Tikal and Chaos, and they'd be in Station Square, and they'd probably have a water car and a water extreme gear. Like I said in the last video, I can bend the rules a little bit if I think it makes sense, and I feel as though Tikal could have the car, and then Chaos could have the water extreme gear. Like, that would just be really cool to see Chaos in there riding an extreme gear. Like, I would pick him literally every single time, like, out of all of the characters. That would be so cool. The next one we have here is a little more obscure, but it's Marine the Raccoon and Gardon from Sonic Rush Adventure. Now, a lot of you may not know who they are. I'll put images of them on the screen, but they would be in Plant Kingdom, I believe, the first stage from that game, and they would have the SS Supermarine, which would be this vehicle right here. This just seems like a basic take. I know a lot of people have been really fond of the Sonic Rush series, so I feel like having more characters from that series in here only does nothing but good. Especially considering we've been seeing Marine in a lot of recent places, so seeing her in CrossWorlds would not surprise me whatsoever. Pack number 5 would include Mighty and Ray, as well as them being in Volcanic Vault from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, and they would probably have their own extreme gear and the car. Maybe, I'm not sure who would get the car, maybe Mighty, because he'd probably be old enough to have his license, and Ray, well, probably not. Now that I think about it, how can any of these characters drive cars? Is it like the thing where you go to amusement parks, you have to be this tall to ride? All these characters are under 2 feet. How do they even have, like, the right to, like, drive a car? Pack 6 would be Classic Sonic and Classic Tails, and they would be in Green Hill, and they would have the OG Sonic car and the OG Tails car. I feel like those are really safe options. I don't know exactly how they would do that in terms of, like, interactions and stuff like that, but maybe there could be some humor derived out of them staying silent. Who knows? Although Classic Tails wouldn't be silent. Maybe Classic Knuckles and Amy would. Pack number 7 includes Classic Knuckles and Classic Amy. I spoiled you there, but you didn't know. Anyway, they would be in Mushroom Hill, and they would have the OG Knuckles car as well as the OG Amy car. Maybe not with an animated face, but that would still be really funny if they did that. I could see these last two packs happening, definitely. I don't feel as though that there's enough classic representation in this game, so maybe they could definitely do that. It's definitely more of a love letter to the modern stuff of the series with the extreme gear, all the different characters they're bringing in that aren't classic characters, and yeah. Although I do know Classic Sonic the Hedgehog would be very happy about all of these characters making it into the game. Pack 8 would include Sally Acorn as well as Bunny Rabbit, and they would be in New Mobotropolis from the pre-reboot Archie series, as well as them having their extreme gear from the post-reboot Archie series, so I feel like they could just kind of like blend the two series together, and that would just be really cool. It's the same sort of deal with Pack 9. You would have Rotor and Antoine being in there, and they would have Not Whole Village as their kart racing area, again from the post pre-reboot Archie comics, as well as these Sad AM series, and they would probably have the Sky Patrol from the post-reboot Archie series. And maybe Antoine would have his extreme gear, or maybe, does he have a plane? He pilots a plane in the post-reboot stuff. Yeah, that's right. Who really knows, though? I feel like these last two are really good picks for representations about Archie and Sad AM as well. The last pack, Pack 10, would include Mephiles and Black Doom. They would both be in Kingdom Valley, and they would have a black comet car. I don't know exactly how they would do that, and maybe Mephiles could get like his own extreme gear made off of like the material that comes off him when he's in that weird state that he's always in nowadays. But yeah, I feel like this is another really good pick. A lot of Sonic fans really want to see Mephiles and Black Doom return in more stuff, so just having them stuck in Sonic X Generations doesn't really make sense to me. Have them in the racing game, let people experience that. That would be so cool. But yeah, that is pretty much every single pick that I want for a Sonic Pass, hypothetically, for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Now, I know not every Sonic character is in there. Maybe some people are mad at my picks personally, but I still would think this is a really solid list, and I would like to see pretty much any of these characters appear in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. That would be really cool. So let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. And make sure to put your dream picks in the comments as well. Bye.